Hi, today I would like to show you how to make a beautiful swan bowl out of clay, and if you would like a little pond for her to swim on, and even some little baby cygnets which I can show you during the session. So for this project you would need your ball of clay roughly the size of a small orange, a drawing stick and your scratch and wet. When we start, we always first squeeze and roll our ball into a rough sausage-like shape to make it easier for us to break. For the body, we need to chomp off a piece that's roughly the size of a plum. Of course, if you want to make your swan bigger or smaller, just adjust the sizes accordingly. So you're going to chomp, twist and pull, and then we need to turn this piece into a good ball. So remember to keep your hands in a bowl-like shape, fingers together. Pass that ball between your hands, squeezing gently, squeeze, and then squeeze and roll, squeeze, squeeze, roll. Be gentle, take your time, there's no rush. Keep doing that until you are happy with your ball. And now we can turn it into a pinch pot. A nice way to think about making a pinch pot is to imagine that the ball is the moon, sitting in the sky, your thumb, the rocket ship flying high, and on the rocket ship there is a quack quack. So the rocket ship crashes into the moon and drills a hole into its core. So go nice and deep, but don't press right through. Oh no, it's stuck. What are we going to do? Luckily, we've got our orbiting hand with which we can turn the ball around our thumb, but it's not really making that hole any bigger, which is what we want. Therefore, we need to have our quack quack. So keep your fingers straight and together, only the thumb in the hole, and then squeeze gently and turn with your orbiting hand. Turn it at little increments at a time, squeezing gently. The key is gentle. Don't be rushed. Go around and around. Keep going and keep checking. If you see a place is a little bit thicker at one place than other places, give it a little bit more attention. So keep going around and around until you are satisfied with your little pinch pot. It needs to have the walls roughly as thick as a ginger biscuit. So if it's a little bit cracky, simply smooth it out with your fingers or even by dipping your hand into a little bit of water. Okay, so once you've got your pinch pot, make sure that it can sit nicely on the table. So just flatten the bottom. And then we need to turn it first into an oval. And then we need to pinch the tail. So we're going to take our scratch and wet. Remember to shake off the excess water. And we're going to scratch and wet on the one side of our oval and then pinch it together into a teardrop shape, almost as if we're making a little cup and its handle. So squeeze it nicely together, blend it in so that we make sure that it's really stuck together. And once you're happy with that, you can squeeze it from the top and the bottom a little bit flat into a little tail. And now we can make the little wings and the neck. So we're going to start with the neck. You're going to pinch off a piece that's roughly the size of a grape. Start by rolling it roughly between your hands and then continue rolling on the table to make it nice and smooth. Remember to roll from the tippy top of your fingers to roughly the middle of your hands, gently backwards and forward. If it goes flat and it doesn't want to turn anymore, just put it on its thinnest side, gently push down so that it forms a bit of a square, and then you can keep rolling. Don't make that neck thinner than a thick koki, otherwise it's going to be too floppy. And then we can scratch and wet it on. If it's too long, you can break off a piece, but first start by attaching it. So scratch and wet at the front of your body, and then squeeze that neck onto the front, and you can also gently smooth it in there if you want to blend the whole thing in. It's a bit tricky, so just keep your fingers in there while you do it. Take your time. And once you're satisfied with that, at the back where the neck and the body meets, please join that as well. And then you can bend the neck into an S shape. So for me, I think this is a bit too long. I'm going to break off a little piece, bend it, and then you're going to squeeze with your fingers. You're going to just squeeze the beak into a point. And then once the point is satisfactory, you can flatten it into that swan shape. And now we can make the wings. So for the wings, you're going to chomp off a piece that's roughly the size of an apricot. Roll it in a rough sausage and break it in half so that you know that your two wings are going to be roughly the same size. Then you can roll both of them first into balls. And if you would like, you can just flatten them as is, or you can roll them into carrots. So there's two ways to do it. First, you can keep your hands in a V shape, put that ball between your hands, and then roll it, or with your fingers, so that you roll only the one side of the ball into a point. You can also roll on the table by putting your pinky on the one side at an angle and only squeezing the one side of the ball, rolling it backwards and forwards into a little carrot shape. Flatten it nice and thin. I like to use this part of my hand, and then we can attach it. So you can decide if you want the wings to be standing up, if you want them to be against the body to have more access to the center, if you want to fold them out into points. It's absolutely up to you. Scratch and wet, and then you can add the details. So you can make some very simple lines, or you can decide to draw some more feather-like patterns on it. For the beak, I suggest making 2 lines, little dots, and of course the eyes. And make sure that if the neck is a bit floppy, just fold it in its right position before you let it dry completely and put it aside. If you want to make a little pond, you simply break off another piece roughly the size of a plum, flatten it into a ball, and then you can roll some sausages that you simply pinch into points to make the reeds. And I'll show you how to make the babies in the class. Thank you very much.